And welcome everybody, Will here. On today's episode we're going to be doing Nassim Haramein. He was a visionary when it came to conscious theory. I think his work was super crucial and, well, without any further ado, let's get started. This is Nassim Haramein. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Am I saying that right? Anyways. This gentleman was born in 1962 in Geneva, Switzerland. Though his roots are Swiss, he spent most of his youth in Canada, immersed in nature and inquiry. From an early age, some sources say he was young as 9, he was already sketching ideas about space, geometry, and unified forces. He didn't follow really what we'd call mainstream academic path. It was more of like a self-study, combining mathematics, physics, philosophy, cosmology, geometry, building more of a holistic view of reality. One of his most well-known works is Quantum Gravity in the Holographic Mass, 2013, where he proposes a relationship between space-time structure and the proton's properties. His prediction, and this is where it gets really weird, his prediction of the proton's charge radius deviated about 4% from the standard model. And interestingly enough, experiments later reported values in alignment with his estimate. So the man was smart, let's just say that. Haramein emphasizes a geometric quantization of space-time, asserting that whether you look at the tiniest atom or the largest galaxy, a common geometry underlies it all. The other theory that I like of his that he had introduced was called the Schwarzschild Proton model. It suggests that protons behave like tiny black holes in the quantum vacuum. But beyond theory, he's founded multiple organizations. You're talking about Resonance Science Foundation back in 2004, Resonance Academy in 2014. These all really have to do with his research. In 2015, the Taurus Tech LLC, it's a lab to explore practical resonance-based technologies and quantum vacuum energy applications. Then Arc Crystal LLC, working on energy coupling crystal technologies tied to his theories. He also holds the role of research director for the International Space Federation, ISF, using it as a platform to explore quantum vacuum, energy, and gravity control technologies. His work has been featured in documentaries like The Connected Universe, narrated by Patrick Stewart, and often cited in alternative science consciousness circles. So more recently, as of like 2023, him and his colleagues published The Origin of Mass and Nature of Gravity. So if you're interested in this, I would say go grab that book. That kind of would bring you up to speed, and it kind of expands on his unified physics framework. Now, why have you not heard his name before? He's done decades work of consciousness theory and study and research. This guy is a brilliant scientist. He's, director of the International Space Federation. What's limiting this man? Well, I'll tell you 3 things that's really kind of limited this person as far as his scientific validation. And that has to do with, 1, his lack of credentials. Unfortunately, there are so many brilliant people out there that do not have formal education, so their work is not taken seriously, and that's sad. 2 is that he kind of doesn't really take prior accepted models for things under consideration, which is a good and a bad thing. You know, you can definitely dive into new territory and stuff without. So, and the third that I have to mention is that his unconventional math. Now, when I say unconventional math, that doesn't mean it's wrong in the basic sense. That means it approaches physics in a way that doesn't follow the usual academic rules. Let me explain. Most physics use heavy calculus, tensors, and quantum field equations to describe the universe. Haramein, on the other hand, well, he starts from geometry. Patterns like spheres, fractals, and tetrahedrons. And he tries to show that these same shapes exist at every level of nature, from atoms to galaxies. For example, in his Schwarzschild Proton model, he used a real black hole equation from Einstein's relativity and applied it to a proton, suggesting that each proton might behave like a miniature black hole. That idea breaks the traditional boundary between quantum physics and relativity, which is exactly why it's so, I don't know, controversial, and also why it's so kind of interesting. In his paper on the holographic mass, he used surface to volume ratios instead of particle physics equations to calculate the size of the proton. Amazingly, his results was close to what later experiments found, but mainstream physicists still questioned the method because it didn't follow the formal mathematical path. And thank you guys if you've made it this far. I do appreciate it. And if I've earned it, please hit that like and subscribe. Nassim is on my top 20 list of consciousness researchers. The reason that I put him on that list is I do think that his approach, having no real formal academic path and approaching it with like geometry and that kind of stuff, I believe it is such a unique approach. A lot like Bentov's, Itzhak Bentov's, his approach as an engineer coming in this, I like those different points of view. I've seen the academic path. I've seen that so many times that when something like this comes across, it's immediately recognized as something special. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed today's adventure, and as always, may your journeys be blessed. Now, I am going to leave you with something special if you've made it this far. The following is diagrams of Nassim's, kind of explaining his universe.